Hey everyone, and welcome back to Paw Wellness channel. Have you ever looked over at your dog, peacefully resting in a cool room, and noticed they're panting like they've just run a marathon? It's a bit weird, right? You check the thermostat, you feel their fur, they're not hot. So, what's going on? If this sounds familiar, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into the reasons why your dog might be panting when it's not hot outside, and what these hidden signals could mean for their health. This is a topic every dog owner should understand, so stick with us. First, let's talk about what's normal. Panting is a dog's primary way of cooling down. Unlike us, they don't have sweat glands all over their bodies. They have some in their paw pads, but their main cooling mechanism is evaporation through their mouth and tongue. So, panting after a game of fetch, on a warm day, or when they're super excited is completely normal and expected. It's their body's natural air conditioning system at work. Abnormal panting, on the other hand, is when the panting seems out of place. It might be heavier, louder, or happen at odd times, like when your dog is resting in a cool environment. This is the type of panting that should get your attention, as it's often a sign that something else is going on beneath the surface. One of the most common hidden reasons for unexplained panting is pain or discomfort. Dogs are masters at hiding pain, it's a survival instinct left over from their wild ancestors. Panting can be a subtle sign that they're hurting somewhere. This could be anything from joint pain like arthritis, which is common in older dogs, to a sore back from jumping off the couch wrong. It could also be abdominal discomfort from something they ate, a dental issue like a sore tooth, or even an internal injury. If the panting is accompanied by other signs like reluctance to move, limping, whining when touched, or a loss of appetite, pain is a very likely culprit. Think of it as their way of saying ouch when they can't use words. Next up is anxiety, fear, or stress. Just like humans might get sweaty palms or a racing heart when they're nervous, dogs can start panting. What could make a dog anxious? The list is long. Loud noises like thunderstorms or fireworks are classic triggers. Car rides can be stressful for many dogs. Separation anxiety is a big one, where they panic when you leave them alone. Even changes in their routine or environment, like having house guests or moving furniture around, can be enough to cause stress. This type of panting is a physiological response to their emotional state. It's often paired with other anxious behaviors like pacing, trembling, hiding, excessive licking, or yawning. So if you notice your dog starts panting heavily every time you grab your car keys, stress is probably the reason. Now, let's move into more serious medical territory. Persistent, heavy panting, especially when your dog is at rest, can be a significant red flag for heart or lung problems. When the heart isn't pumping efficiently, or the lungs aren't transferring oxygen properly, the body feels like it's suffocating. To compensate, your dog will pant more rapidly to try and get more oxygen into their system. Conditions like congestive heart failure, where fluid builds up in the lungs, or laryngeal paralysis, where the airway doesn't open properly, can cause this. Other lung diseases, like pneumonia or even tumors, can also lead to labored breathing and panting. This type of panting often sounds raspy or wet and might be accompanied by coughing, a bluish tint to the gums, or an unwillingness to lie down. Another medical cause for panting is a fever or an underlying infection. Just like when we get a fever, a dog's internal body temperature rises as their immune system fights off bacteria or viruses. To try and cool themselves down from this internal heat, they'll start to pant. This is their body's attempt to regulate its temperature. If your dog is panting and also seems lethargic, has a warm, dry nose, red eyes, is shivering, or has lost their appetite, it's a good idea to check for a fever. An infection anywhere in the body, from a skin wound to an internal organ, can trigger this response. Panting can also be linked to certain hormonal or metabolic disorders. One of the most well-known is Cushing's disease, which is when the body produces too much of the stress hormone, cortisol. Dogs with Cushing's often pant excessively. They also typically show other signs, like increased thirst and urination, a pot-bellied appearance, hair loss, and a ravenous appetite. It's a combination of symptoms that paints a very specific picture for vets. Another condition could be an issue with the adrenal glands, because these hormones regulate so many bodily functions, an imbalance can throw everything off kilter. And panting is often one of the first outward signs that something is wrong with your dog's internal chemistry. It's crucial to know when panting crosses the line from a concern to a full-blown emergency. If your dog's panting is extremely rapid and shallow, if they are clearly struggling to breathe, or if their tongue or gums look pale, gray, or bluish, this is a crisis. Get to an emergency veterinarian immediately. This indicates a severe lack of oxygen. Also, if your dog collapses, seems disoriented, or if the panting is accompanied by uncontrolled drooling or signs of heat stroke, like a body temperature over 104 degrees Fahrenheit, it's an emergency. Don't wait. In these situations, every second counts. Another critical sign is if their abdomen looks bloated and they are trying to vomit but can't. This could be a sign of bloat, or GDV, which is life-threatening. So, what can you do at home when you notice your dog is panting for no apparent reason? First, take a moment to assess the situation. Is there an obvious stressor, like a new person in the house or a storm brewing? If so, try to remove your dog from the situation or provide a safe, quiet space for them. Offer some fresh, cool water. Don't try to force them to drink, but make it available. Try to keep them calm and comfortable. Avoid any strenuous activity. You can also take their temperature if you know how to do so safely with a rectal thermometer designed for pets. A normal temperature is between 101 and 102.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Document what you see. What time of day is it happening? What else is your dog doing? This information will be incredibly valuable if you need to call the vet. Finally, let's talk about when it's time to make that call to your veterinarian. If the panting is new, persistent, and has no obvious cause, it's always best to get it checked out. If it's accompanied by any other symptoms we've discussed, like lethargy, coughing, loss of appetite, changes in drinking or urination habits, or signs of pain, definitely book an appointment. You know your dog better than anyone. If your gut tells you something is wrong, listen to it. It's much better to have a vet tell you everything is fine than to wait too long when there's a serious underlying issue. A vet can perform a physical exam, listen to their heart and lungs, and may recommend blood tests or x-rays to get to the bottom of it. Early diagnosis and treatment can make all the difference. Panting is a complex behavior, and while it's often perfectly normal, it can also be your dog's way of sending out an SOS. By paying close attention to the context and looking for other clues, you can become a more informed and proactive advocate for your dog's health. They rely on us to notice when something's not right. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope this helps you better understand your furry friend. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more pet care tips. And share your experiences in the comments below. Has your dog ever panted for a strange reason? What was the cause? Let's help each other learn. Stay safe, and give your dogs an extra hug from me. See you in the next one.